Hello and welcome to Not a Nerdy Up North podcast. No, it is a Nerdy Up North review. Yes. So I am flying solo today and I miss my little counterpart, Sam. Like, where is she? She should be normally there next to me, but no. Um, so we are. Start again. Put my teeth back in. So at Nerdy Up North, we have been very fortunate and very lucky, and our reach is starting to expand, which is amazing and getting very exciting. And the lovely people at Strike Media and they normally send us a few emails saying we've got these movie reviews. I'll be honest, 9 times out of 10, the movies don't really fit into what we would class as could review type thing. It's normally very art house, very sophisticated. But this one came through, and I thought, I'll try this one. And luckily, the respondent said, yes, we will send you a movie screener, which was great. Did have a little bit of fun yesterday because it said the movie screener had timed out, so I had a little bit of a panic. And then the lovely people at Vertigo Studios actually emailed me back and sent me another copy. So yes, so thank you to, like I say, Strike Media to, like I say, reaching out to us and saying if that would be something that we'd be interested in. And thank you for Vertical Studios for actually responding and giving the little guy a chance. That's all we want. The little guy wants a chance. But yes, so today's episode, as Becca has pointed out, little solo Paul will be reviewing the movie that is released in the cinemas today. It is called The Exorcism, starring Russell Crowe, David Hyde-Pierce, Sam Worthington, Chloe Bailey, and a few others. Now, I'll get into a few little things regarding the movie because I didn't know too much about the movie until I received the email from. Well, actually, that's a lie. A few weeks ago, me and Sammy got an email saying, "Do we want to go to the movie premiere for this film?" But it was on a Tuesday afternoon in London, and that wasn't going to happen because, like, literally, it was like a week to prepare. So unfortunately, we couldn't go to the movie premiere. That would have been quite interesting, though. But instead, we've got the screener. So I couldn't. I wanted to share the screener with you guys, but I thought I'd get sued. So yes, so I didn't. So thank you for putting me sensible head on, Paul. So I got a little bit confused about this movie at the start because earlier this year, a movie came out called The Pope's Exorcist. The Pope's Exorcist, starring Russell Crowe as a priest who was the Pope's exorcist. So when this was advertised, and I'll be honest with you, with the marketing campaign and the posts and everything I saw, I thought this was either going to be a prequel or a sequel. So I was like, all right, then Russell Crowe must have enjoyed playing this part so much, he's done a movie straight after. No, it is a completely different movie. It has nothing to do with that. So this is basically quite like a standalone movie. It's directed by a person called Joshua John Miller. The premise, I'll give you a quick rundown of the premise. It's basically almost like a take on the Cursed movie set. Now we've had quite a few of these in the past. Like The Exorcist is notorious, renowned to post being cursed because of the subject matter. Poltergeist because they use real skeletons and like on an Indian burial ground. Also, Superman is probably quite a famous cursed movie because a lot of bad things happened to the people who were on that set, or that later, like say the Christopher Reeve like situation as well. So this is almost like a play on that. So this is basically a movie about a horror movie being made, and all the actors and everything, bad things are kind of happening, and it starts off almost like a set recreation from The Exorcist. So you're almost thinking, are they remaking The Exorcist here, or is it completely different? But no, it is different in some ways. But the things I liked about this movie, so I'll get the things I liked about it at the start, is like the tone, the colours. It was very dark and damp. I liked the idea of using like the cursed movie as the premise for this movie. I think it worked. I think it was a good idea, and it kind of taken you away. So it was almost like Inception a little bit. It was like a movie within a movie within a movie within a movie within a movie. But no, that bit was a little bit of fun. It started off being quite a psychological like tone, and if they kept with that tone and feeling throughout the movie, it, I probably would have enjoyed the movie a lot more. I'm not saying I didn't think it was an okay movie. It just had a lot of premise, a lot of like say chances that it could have been exceptional, like especially the cast. Because like I'll be honest, Russell Crowe is very vulnerable in this movie as well, and he is quite because he's playing like a famous actor that's down in his luck, that's lost his chances due to drink and drugs and basically going off the rails type thing. So this is kind of like his comeback trail. This is his comeback movie to kind of get himself right. And he plays quite vulnerable. And the guy who plays the director, Adam Goldberg, is brilliant in as well. And he's proper harsh, comes down hard on Russell Crowe as well. His character's called Anthony Miller. While this is going on, his daughter gets kicked out of school, and she's kind of like a troubled teen, as they are. And he's trying to build that relationship back with her, but with his past, he's kind of like they're kind of like at loggerheads, and she won't even call him father or dad. He calls him Tony, and that's like a big thing in the movie. And one of the surprises as well that when I didn't know he was in the movie, but when the credits came up was David Hyde-Pierce. Now I am a huge Fraser fan, so I love David Hyde-Pierce. I think he is hilarious. I think he was one of the best things in Frasier. So when he was in this, I was like, great, I'm getting quite excited. And he plays a priest, really, and again, his part is quite pivotal to the story and everything that's going on. And he's brilliant in this movie. Like I can't say anything bad about David Hyde-Pierce. To be fair, I wouldn't say anything bad about David Hyde-Pierce anyway, but I just thought he was like one of the standout things in the movie. Halfway through this movie, it kind of does get lost, loses its way. It starts being, it's like, right, how can we be as much like The Exorcist without being The Exorcist? And it's kind of like, just you were doing your own thing, you were doing well, stay at the cursed movie set, but then the whole Russell Crowe getting possessed, and people start like disbelieving that he was possessed and that he's just going back into drinking drugs, and it's kind of like, oh, it didn't quite work, and that's when Russell Crowe goes a bit. I'd say his performance goes a bit all over the place. I don't like shitting on it or saying bad, but it kind of goes a bit hokey. It then goes to the extremes where it tries to be like controversial, like The Exorcist, where Russell Crowe's character starts being all weird and creepy towards his own daughter, and it's like, oh, I don't like this. It was more like not like The Office uncomfortable, where you like I can't look away. It's like this is making me feel so uncomfortable. I want to turn this off. It was kind of not thought provoking. It wasn't like anything to do with the plot. It was kind of like, no, this is just nasty. Don't like that. Then there was a few like say jump scares, which again, I know for most horror films, everyone likes a good jump scare, but this one was like all the jump scares in this were very, very obvious and used the same way. There was like either a real bang, real loud noise, and it kind of like went, oh, you could have done so much better. This could have been like an actual proper scary movie. And then in the final act, I'll be honest though, it just goes batshit crazy, and it just doesn't seem to work. Russell Crowe goes full like demon possession, jumps out of windows. His daughter's freaking out. David Hyde-Pierce, like say, is trying to say, "Oh yes, demons aren't real," blah blah blah. But then he's been kind of coerced and stuff as well. But it's kind of like three different movie plots all at once, and the things that kind of threw me out of it as well. The pacing didn't seem right. Like it's not an exactly long film, but it felt a long film, if that makes sense. And there's elements to it where there was like use of flashbacks was kind of used throughout, but you don't know why like the flashbacks were in there, because the story was he was a shit father when his wife was basically seriously ill and passing away, but he didn't say anything of that. It flashes back to when he was a kid and he was being abused as an altar boy, and it's kind of like, yeah, it didn't quite fit with the feel of the movie or what was going on, and it was kind of like trying to make you feel sympathetic towards Russell Crowe's character, which it, not a shitting it, but it kind of missed the mark. Now, not to say I'm a great movie maker or great ideas, but the premise at the start of like saying the Curse movie was such a strong premise, and like I know we've had movies within movies before, but not like say based on that type of trope. And I thought that would have been really, really well done towards like say how they played out. Like if they kept on saying, "Oh, everything's happened to different characters," but they went through the whole hog and had Russell Crowe being possessed. And one of the big scenes was when Russell Crowe's getting screamed at for being shit, like being drunk on set, and he just walks down the stairs and all the lights and everything in the studio starts flashing, and he starts doing like a Brea White impression, like bending over backwards and neck moving and going all this weird shit and stuff like that. And it was just like too much at this point. It's like we've not really had too much of a build of the possession. We've had hints where like glance and looks, but like the possession went from, oh, it's starting to take over to fully like possessed, like Russell Crowe, which was weird. And the makeup for the possession wasn't great. I'll be honest with you, it didn't look amazing. It just looked very strange, very um, amateurish, to be honest. And that's the thing. But one thing my wife Nicole, when we were talking about that, she did mention that it felt like it was trying to be an art house film, but also a horror film at the same time. So it was kind of like fighting with itself to either be too clever or not clever enough. So I think the biggest, like say, criticism or the biggest, what I would say, it didn't know what it wanted to be for most of the film. So when you're watching it, you end up getting lost, confused, and I hate to say it, bored at times. Um, and I know they try to bring it back for the final act. The final act visually looks great, like the colors, the tones, everything they used was amazing, but they used the whole choppy edits and like close-ups where it didn't need to be. So I, I would say if you're going to watch the movie, I would say watch it for David Hyde Pierce. David Hyde Pierce is just brilliant in anything he does because, like I say, I might be a little bit biased just with his love and Frasier, but yeah, like he is entertaining and portrays the character, funny enough, as a vicar stroke psychologist. Funny enough, casting Niles Crane as a psychologist. Who knew? But that element was quite fun, quite interesting. But yeah, like I say, I'll be honest with you, I do wish I watched this with Sammy or watched this with another member of the team, just so we could bounce off like what their ideas or what their thoughts is, because not always what I see is what they see or what they get from different things. That might have been like say an interesting conversation. So if we do get more of these, that's kind of like the approach I will try and take. But like not to try and shit on the movie too much. It's a difficult one. I am surprised this has got a cinema release. That's being completely honest. I thought this would have been straight to streaming or straight to DVD. I don't know. Again, if you want to go out, this is, as I said, came out in the pictures today. It does lend a lot of like tropes and things from a lot of this type of psychological movies, like the Exorcism of Emily Rose, like the Contorting Pits. Uh, as I said, just don't go in thinking it's a sequel or a prequel to The Pope's Exorcist, because it's really not. It's got nothing to do with that movie. It's very much its own standard thing. Um, the ending, it does wrap things up quite quaintly, and without giving too many spoilers, it it doesn't quite work for me. And that's again just being completely honest and being completely truthful. The ending was like, oh, that happened. That was quite abrupt and quite intense. But for something that when you start out, you think it's going to be a moody, quite like a very somber tone throughout the movie, almost like a slow build. It starts that way, then it just goes to 11 quite quickly, and it doesn't really come down. So you don't really get like the tones or the valleys in how you feel towards this movie as well. But all in all, if you do like the genre, if you do like these type of movies, I would say give it a go. But I'll probably say there is better horror movies or better movies out at the moment as well there. So yes, if I was going to give this out of 5, like because we have got like our rating system, if we're going to give it out of 5, I would probably just give it a 1 or if I'm being kind, a 2 for David Hyde-Pierce. Um, it, without saying it's a shit movie, it's a shit movie. Probably is not what the guys who sent us the screen wanted me to say, but I'd rather be honest and be truthful. It wasn't what I was expecting, and to be honest, if I was streaming this, if it was in, it probably would have got switched off at a certain point. But that was probably down to me feeling comfortable with the Russell Crowe and the daughter scene. That was kind of like, no, if they went there, I would have been. I just didn't think the movie needed it. The relationship between Russell Crowe and his daughter was quite an interesting part of it, where she was mistrusting and not very happy with him, and like the build, if they kept the story simple, like towards like they're trying to build that, and then this possession or the exorcism kind of like come between that, it would have been an interesting movie, as a more interesting take, but it kind of didn't get there. Like it didn't really go with the building of the kind of like the building of that relationship. It kind of like stayed at one tone, and it ended by saying, "Oh yes, our relationship is the best if it's ever been." But yeah, it's always difficult. I'd rather be honest than not. But yes, I thought, like I said, just do a quick review, not go into too much details, and not give too many different spoilers throughout as well. Hopefully, I've give you enough to whet your interest. If I've put you off, I do apologise, but I would always say don't listen to the reviewer. Always give you make up your own mind. Give everything yourself a chance to watch it as well. But yes, there is more fun. I'd say that's the thing. This film is not fun. It, when you're kind of watching a movie and you want it like to be entertaining, there's no humor in this at all. There's no laughs. There's no jokes. I know sometimes the subject matter doesn't need laughs or jokes in, but I think if you do something so serious, it needs to have like a little icebreaker, a little thing to break the tension, and that kind of never happened in this movie as well. So yeah, so that again, that could have done to improve it. But yes, so that's my little take. Hopefully, if we do get any more of these screeners, we'll get a few more of the team in and we can talk about them. It's just the reason why I've jumped on is because basically we were giving it to, like I say, a last minute thing with the film coming out today as well. I wanted to try and get this up rather than like waiting, and I think we only had the screener until end of today as well. But yes, so tonight we do have another episode of Trekking going out live. Tomorrow morning we do have the first episode of Toons Up North. So if you miss your Saturday morning cartoons, join me and Jake at 10 o'clock tomorrow morning, as we will be talking about the Justice League. So that will be entertaining, and I am very excited for Sunday's episode of the podcast. So yes, we are going Wayne's World. Party time! Excellent. So yes, we will be talking about Wayne's World on Sunday, and on Monday we do have Monsters returning, talking about Prom Night, the remake and the original. So that would be interesting as well. So yes, so thank you everyone who's joined in. This is just, as I said, wanted to put something out a little bit earlier and put something out throughout the day. So if you do get a chance to watch this, like I say, it is just like a little snippet of the review. Check us out, give us a like, give us a subscribe, and share with your friends. Tell your friends about us. We are friendly nerds. But yes, So same bat time, same bat channel. I'll do my Sammy impression. Stay dirty, everyone. Bye. Cheers, Sammy. Thank you. Bye.